Well, greetings everyone, and welcome to a special video event today called Discovering the Zodiac in You, Trickster's Zodiacal Guide to Navigating the Wild Rising Tide of 2018. I think you can tell just from the title of today's call that we're in for a really special treat and an adventure to who knows where, because we're with a truly remarkable woman. Her name is Caroline Casey, and she is one of the most brilliant, creative, unpredictable people that I've ever met, and I've met quite a few. So she weaves together different threads of astrology and activism and deep archetypal understandings and ancient wisdom with modern understandings in very unique ways. And we're particularly going to look at today like how an astrological understanding opens up a deeper understanding of our full spectrum of ourselves and helps us better navigate the times ahead of us. So the zodiac in a way is a map of different archetypes of human potential, and then when we look at it through a certain lens, then we actually can access more of our own. So Caroline is for 22 years, she's been the weaver of context on the Visionary Activist show on KPFA. She's got many cool books out and weaves together all these threads from around the world. It's almost hard to describe her in a simple bio, but here she is, Caroline Casey. Welcome to today's program.
Thank you so much, Stephen. And just for the fun of it, at your encouragement, you go, do you have helpers? Do you have props? And I go, why, wait, here's somebody hopping by. It's Brer Rabbit. It's Brer Rabbit. It's Brer Rabbit. Yes, right. And what does Brer Rabbit want to say? Oh, he wants to remind us perfectly of the very beginning of the Brer Rabbit tales that say, "There was times when all the critters used to gather to sagactuate." That's what we're doing. Just like there ain't been no hard times, like there ain't been no falling out, like they all remembered they were kin. Thank you, Brer Rabbit. Okay, that's very...
Well, we'll have this hour with Caroline, and we're in for a real treat. And I also want to let people know up front that we're going to have a full new program with her called Liberating the Zodiac Within and Without, Journeying into the Realms of Great Symbols. So we're very excited about this program. It's the first one that we've offered like this, and Caroline is just a master and maestra of bringing these different worlds together in a way that really liberates more of our potential in a fun way, playful way. And we'll hear more about that towards the end today. So Caroline, so here we are. We're entering 2018, the wild ride. Maybe give us a little bit of context astrologically for the moment we're in, and then we can start to talk about how do we use that to better navigate what we're in.
Yeah, well, here we are. I say tongue-in-cheek, we're in the age of Capricorn, and people go, the age of Aquarius, and we go, yes, it's tongue-in-cheek, but it means, right now as we're speaking in the middle of January on out into our launching and however, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets in Capricorn. So what is that Capricorn quality? The earliest image, because part of our liberating is tracking everything back to its originating impulse before it got bamboozled or orthodoxed or whatever. So the earliest image for Capricorn is the Council of Mavens, information resource beings, dedicated to the next 7 generations. And we go, ooh. And part of this dynamic as we move through the zodiac and we can feel these things within and without, Saturn, let me just do a brief moment of vocabulary here. So we say in this beautiful astro-mytho language, metaphoric language, we say the planets represent living qualities of intelligence that reside within us and connect us to the world. And many wonderful beings on the Shift Network, we've done courses that have predominantly been focused on the planets. And the zodiac, here we go, is the adverb in what way? So we have 5 participants, 5 planetary participants, part of ourselves and the collective world in Capricorn, meaning it says for the last 3 years, Saturn in Sagittarius, for the last many years, we've been studying and training and gathering things, in all of our different ways. And Capricorn says, now let's do stuff. Let's be like Stephen. Let's manifest into actual form. What are we going to do? But I love, as we set forth, now and then into our opening course and wherever you be, we hope you're with us, but wherever you are, there are metaphors for each degree of the zodiac. It's a very old tradition, always being reworked and liberated. But I love there'll be a Mercury, Saturn, moon conjunction at the dark of the moon, whose image is a party of campers packing their canoe at twilight, the ability to navigate dark water. We go, whoa, because we know it's dangerous, right? It's dangerous out there. Democracy's in danger. There's so much of the worst of humans being invited, so it's our task. It behooves us to invite the best in ourselves and in others, out there. So we say, what qualities do we most want to cultivate to navigate this wild ride, which so much is at stake, but so much is possible. So many cooperators are standing by. So I love, coyote, and, as some of our team know, I lived with an actual coyote, Stella Coyote, for 19 years, 2 months and 2 weeks. She died on June 12th, and we wave to the ancestors, but she and I kind of created the coyote creation myth, which says, long before there were humans, there was Trickster, liberating Trickster, who sets the whole shebang going with a sizzle of lightning, and that sizzle of lightning goes through all the plants, all the flora and fauna, and every now and then it gets imprisoned, confined, bamboozled or snookered. So it's a great escape artist. It's a great escapade artist. And that sizzle of life, of nature's evolutionary indigenuity, sizzles all the way into each one of our hearts right now, awaiting this wild ride year. And it goes, right, it's a part of us that comes alive when things are against all odds, and we love that. So I do have Stella Coyote left me an abundance of coyote hair, so do the miracle of telepathic online association. It gets to everybody. And so Muti means power and medicine from the Sangomas of South Africa. True power is that which heals, right? We don't source power, we invite it. And we invite it to animate our dedicated hearts and also these living systems of traditional wisdom that are hopping up and down, eager for us to cahoot. But right now we say, oh, spirit of originating Trickster, awakening in each one of our hearts now, equipping us with resilient, jolly, jaunty capacity to navigate the underworld, open the path before everybody on this call, that we may cultivate our gifts and contribute them to the world in a way that is replenishing and deeply serious fun. Wow. Okay. I also,
great effect. It went right into the camera.
Oh, excellent. Oh, Stella Coyote is with me. And then just for the fun of it, goes, why fool around? Why not just do magic now? This is, of course we are magnetizing our jolly adventure that we all be a party of campers together, packing our canoe at twilight. And what are we going to put in our canoe? All ancient wisdom guiding systems, all powerful symbols. We'll be diving into the Zodiac as a living circle with which, we can, an expanded palette with which we can paint reality, and qualities that we can embrace. If we're feeling like wimpy or cowering, we go, let's cover ourselves in a cloak of Aries and red and woofiness and animal spirits, and we'll go through everybody. But
I just want to jump in. I just had an interesting insight while you were sharing. I mean, maybe this is obvious to you, but in a way, because the whole Zodiac is the map is so ancient, it's actually like a coded language transmitting from our ancestors to today too.
Absolutely, and also it's intrinsic to us, right? That's right. It's the phrase when we were backstage that I say I've crafted this phrase that I'm quite enchanted by, and I got 800 people at the Bioneers talk. You can have that talk; it's really good. To chant it, entheo, indigenous, endogenous. We can do it. Entheo, indigenous, endogenous, and it just sounds great, but it also means something. What it means, entheo, like entheogens, it's that which elicits the divine within us. Indigenous, the entire history of not even just human, but wisdom of how we wisely cooperate with nature, because that's really where we're going here. It's neck and neck, right? Destruction. But for humans to humbly cooperate with nature's guiding evolutionary intelligence, which really is our purpose, that is Yeah, absolutely. Encoded and embodied in these living symbols awaiting our animation. Endogenous, one of my new favorite ancient words, it means, it comes from, neuroscientists and whatever, um, saying in our bodies, we have cannabis receptors, like in there. Hello, hello. It's an intrinsic thing. We have what's called DMT receptors, which is the psychoactive principle in ayahuasca, but all mammals have DMT receptors. And it's thought that all mammals have a little burst, of DMT when we're born and a big burst when we die. And what one sees with DMT is it takes you to the building blocks of creation, the geometry of how life is organized, puts one right in touch with that. And that's really also what the Zodiac is. So I like to say, well, beauty is endogenous, right? We have beauty receptors. We are pattern tracking beings. We love patterns and symmetry. Wonderful woman doing a short film on puzzles said, we are so pattern tracking beings. When they've wired people's brains up to an MRI, when we put a puzzle piece in place, it stimulates the same portion of the brain as sex. We go, woo! And it also says learning languages, and astrology in the Zodiac is a language, right, for which we have receptors because it's really intrinsic to nature. It also stimulates the same portion of the brain as sex. So there's a lot of ways to have, interesting different forms of orgasm. Like
so when we see the patterns of the Zodiac and how they apply to our lives, then we have a mini orgasm, is what you're saying.
Yes, well, our brain really does. It goes, ooh, we love that, and it's a pattern coming back into place. So, a lot of people ask about the courses that I give. What if I know nothing about astrology, or what if I'm a professional astrologer? The way I love to convene counsel is both. Because these working principles, whether you know nothing about astrology, your psyche does. And we provide the language for ever greater intimacy and access to all of our skills. I love, a friend was asked what his definition of maturity was, and he said to have access to all of our resources. And I go, that's pretty good. And, part of our dedication here, is to grant all of us, everyone here on this call, access to all of our resources. We are so much more than what we are told conventionally, and the Zodiac, again, out there, in here, speaks to us going, there's a woofy part, there's a sensual animus part, there's a communicative reporter part, there's a big mama agent was a part, there's a Leo show off ta-da part, there's a Virgo scribe ancient part, there's a Libra I love you all, there's a Scorpio does my staring bother you, there's a Sagittarius arrows of desire tipped with compassion, with tyranny as its target. Fatum! There's a Capricorn convening the council. There's an Aquarius with a broadcast microphone. There's a Pisces going walla walla walla. There, that's the entire course. All right.
Wow, so, yeah, that was a hell of a summary. Just boom,
Well, we can do it. And we can even do it like woof.
Well, I wanted to pause for a moment and really highlight that. So it's like what you're really saying is that like each Zodiac symbol has a quality of being that can be useful and helpful in different situations. And so when we open to each of them, it's like we've got a bigger cast of characters for the drama of our life to play out.
Exactly. And people, when they know their charts or their sun sign, like you're a Capricorn, I'm a Libra, whatever. But we're going to be liberating. We honor that, but we're going to take it even more out there going, and people sometimes look at their charts going, I don't have any planets in Aries. We go, doesn't matter. We own the entire Zodiac. And what we'll be experimenting with is not only a real understanding of these principles of how energy works, whether we're giving a party or an event or a life cycle or whatever, we initiate and then we consolidate and then we extend, and it goes around kind of like that. But these qualities, but we're going to experiment with it as a living circular system that we can animate really even around us as a protective field through which we can glide. We can think of, again, how we work it. Like, if things are really cold, like, whoa, we're in the east are in the Arctic realm. But we remember, I just have this wonderful note here that Arctic comes from Arctos, bear, because Ursa Major, the great she bear, is always visible in the northern polar sky. So Antarctic means opposite the bear. Arctic is with the bear. So we have, because of the crazy rudeness our rogue species has unleashed, we have these crazy patterns. So how do we adopt? How are we aligning ourselves with nature's adaptive evolutionary dynamic? So so if we're cold, we go Aries, red, hot pepper, spices, cinnamon, cloves. There's a dance, a compartment, because really this beautiful language says there are qualities of energy that we're going to call the zodiac that we can then see, that organize reality, and again give us access to all these different parts of ourselves, but ways to experiment and play with them. But just for the fun of it, I was just about to light the umpepo. Let me do that just for the fun of it, because this is a kind of muti that was grown for me by Sangomas in South Africa. They said it's for medicine people. We all are. That's why we're here, due to some miracle. We are the molecules with which the big story speaks to itself through the agency of synchronicity. So it's perfect that everyone's here. And this opens up the avenues between the visible and the invisible and the ancestors, meaning every human, and not just human, because the zodiac works with animals too, but who's ever been dedicated to this language, come on in, because part of our dynamic is it's more than perfect that we humans cannot resolve the innumerable problems in our own personal lives and in our collective life by ourselves. It's by ourselves that got us into this pickle, right? So availing ourselves of all the different qualities intrinsic to us, eager to dance with corresponding qualities outside. And just as we begin this year, it's so powerful. In the winter solstice right behind us, Saturn entered its own sign of Capricorn, right? The council dedicated to the next 7 generations for the first time since 1988, since the winter solstice of 1988. And then everything, comes in and we go, right. And it goes, now we really want to be the party of campers packing our canoe at twilight. Who brought what? And one of the ways, because when I convened or taught the shift course, Visionary Activist Astrology, it was a blast. Hi there, you guys. It was a blast. And part of what made it a blast was it really got very counsel-y, because it's an interesting issue. How do we really convene a council of telepathic support so that when we're on the call, that's great, but even through our whole journey from end of January into April, we have a wolf pack, a wolf OT pack that encourages our uniqueness. Yes, and I got lost in my own whatever I was about to say.
Well, I think there was a thread there that I wanted to bring for you. You said that it was the first time since 1988 that
yes.
had happened, and it struck me that 1989 was when the wall came down, and there was a kind of a collapsing of certain kind of polarized energy.
Right. No, exactly. And so, as Mark Twain said, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. Right. And he also said, worry is not preparation. We want to compost worry, and we can do that with a group. But he also said, I've experienced many terrible things in my life, most of which never came to pass. Right. So we want to also throw anticipatory dread into the cauldron, and, kind of borrowing from NLP, imagine ourselves, party of campers packing canoe at twilight, heading into the mysterious darkness with buddies and exhilaration, right? And so, yeah, in the winter solstice of 1988, which unfurled 1989, right, that was the Berlin Wall came down. It was the beginning of the internet. It was the Exxon Valdez, horrific ecocide, many, many things. So it's resonating, and we go, all right, now this circle, has been hit by lightning, and it wants to become a spiral. So let's avail ourselves of all of those qualities. So we're heading in, and that's why to magnetize, our beautiful team, everything that everyone does, thinks, speaks, feels matters enormously now, and how do we navigate the underworld as we begin now and set forth, for everybody. It's called uh, Venus and Mercury are in the underworld, meaning they're so close to the sun that we don't see them. And that's where we draw on all the myths of antiquity. Again, all the guiding stories. And we remember that cultures symbolically stashed their science in their mythological structures, right? So the Inanna myth is the Venus orbital cycle. And very important that Venus is in Capricorn now, meaning pragmatic mysticism. She's in the underworld. We don't see her, getting ready to emerge around February 20th as the evening star of peace in the sign of Pisces, the sign of her exaltation. So right now it's like about practical things, embodying our spiritual teachings. What does that mean? How do we tease that, implication? So as we convene now, and then also on January 30th, maybe let me make a little, wherever you are, we hope you're with our wonderful adventure team that will be setting forth on January 30th, because that is the night right before the full super moon lunar eclipse at 11 plus Leo, 11 plus Aquarius, the gathering of the community. And it's a particular degree, that full moon, of spicy, positive intrigue. So I want to magnetize all of us as accomplices, fellow accomplices, because the utopian Fourier said, in any ideal community, we must allow for the passion for positive intrigue. Because when people gather to pull off something beautiful for themselves and for others, it draws upon more elegant parts of the psyche than daytime, right? So it's so perfect. Some genius is scheduling us, right? It's so perfect that, our course begins liberating the zodiac within and without, setting it free. More on that some perfect soon time. Right at the eve of this lunar eclipse, because everything's woofing to us to collaborate. And that is the moon in Leo at the positive, spicy, positive intrigue degree, opposite the sun in Aquarius. And now what that brings to us, in our rapid survey here, is that astrology and the zodiac is a mystery school. And it says, what qualities do we all want to cultivate in ourselves, in any event, that make it complete? And so the Leo Aquarius full moon lunar eclipse, and a lunar eclipse which will be seen in the west of America, going further west out there, but we can all feel it. It's where it's a precise full moon in which the sun projects the Earth's shadow onto the moon. We see shadow. And throughout antiquity, it's always been made available, going, well, what would we like to be eclipsed by what, right? And we'll be working with this on our first convening night together. But it is Leo Aquarius. And the part of that hums in all of us, knowing the language or not, doesn't matter. You have indigenous, entheoindigenous, endogenous receptors for this. It says Aquarius, the gathering of community. And then we go to all the fixed signs, and it says, whatever was born in Aquarius was conceived in Taurus, the animistic, sensual realm. Very important this year. Uranus will enter Taurus. There will be a Gaia living earth resonance of Renaissance available, not just in humans, but in everybody. It's such a powerful time to gather. My enthusiasm is boundless, right? Come on, team.
So just kind of tease, so we're moving out of a phase of the underworld kind of energy into this kind of rebirth energy is what I'm hearing.
Right. We're in the underworld for a little bit here. And of course, there's many round trip tickets.
No news to most of us.
Right. So it's like, I always get a little nervous when people go, now I finally finished with the underworld. It's like, run, because it, but navigating the underworld is a repetitive thing. But Venus is in the underworld with the sun, with Mercury and Saturn, as we are talking now and as we set forth. But let me just finish this thing here. So Aquarius says, well, what does it take to have a healthy community inside us and in the world? And the next, what's called fixed sign, is Taurus. It says, an animistic, sensual relationship to nature is essential. And then we get to Leo. And it says, well, what makes a healthy community within each one of us and the world? And it says, how much does it welcome the unique, passionate, creative, expressive, theatrical, intelligence represented by Leo? Does it welcome that, or does it shun that? Which is why in all the councils I convene, they are like wolf-coyote mixes, because wolves and coyotes are mating. I call them wolfotes. And it's to have all the advantage of a supportive wolf pack that encourages our mad, creative, unique, coyote genius rather than suppresses it. And that's why we create a field that is enough support, num, 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 to cultivate and to recover and to unleash and set free our mad, wild uniqueness, because everybody's got that in there. And then just the last little bit of the mystery school part. And then Scorpio. We have a Mars-Jupiter conjunction in Scorpio right now. It's going to be an important part of the theme through the whole year. But in this context, it says, well, what makes a happy community of ourselves, our internal democracy, and of the world? And it says, Scorpio. How much does it welcome the spicy, hidden insights from the underworld? And so all of those four are part of the kind of structure of the Zodiac that makes it a mystery school, to include all of those things.
Well, one thing I'm kind of hearing what you're saying is that part of what happens is that we tend to identify with certain qualities and reject others. And then by playing with the full spectrum of the Zodiac, we're depolarizing ourselves against certain qualities as well.
And we know that, categories can be beacons of liberating light or confining categories of impositional prison, which is why we are liberating the Zodiac, because we know people going, oh, a Scorpio, one of those, anyway, that, we go, yes, a Scorpio, one of those.
Basically every sign has its gift, its blessing, its redemptive power for healing and transformation,
right?
If we can see it rightly.
Exactly. And it's demons, of course, right? And we earn the virtues by dancing with the demons. I love a friend said, when life gives you demons, make demonade, right? So and a toast of demonade to everybody going, right, yeah. Because
what you just did right there is like, even that is like, we tend to demons and we put everything in the bucket that we don't like. And you're just like, oh, let's pop that little polarization right there.
Right, exactly. Thank you. Right, because part of what we want to do, to be effective agents in our own lives and larger, is to not be snookered into polarity, right? This is a part of where we have a shared dedication, Stephen, and all beings on this call, because polarity, we strengthen whatever we resist, right? No. And so the Aikido spiraling, again, from nature, when conflicting forces come together, nature creates a spiral, so we want to be spiraling. So yeah, so we want to dance with the demons. It's like I have a wonderful radio guest, Yahia Lababidi, wonderful, wonderful poet, aphorism artist, and we will be honoring many different ways of expressing ourselves. But he's got some great aphorisms. You can't expect to bury emotional pain and have it not grow roots, right? So we go, right. And he also says, where there are demons is where there is something worth protecting. And in the deep end, every stroke counts. Right. So those are fun. So yeah, absolutely. So we do dance with the demons, and we don't necessarily even finger wag at our own or other people's demons. We go, there we go. And that's part of our dynamic. So even, part of our transformation of equality, we had, in the 60s, and now we have the power fist, right? Rah, 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 rah. Very Aries, very Wolf, very Mars. But to complete it, because everything's a journey, we go, right, rah, 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 and then Venus, the unfurling palm of blessing. Whoops, there we go. Right, so it's like anger is a first step to be aroused. That's Aries. But then you want to make beauty out of it, right? It's a journey, anger into desire. So you're angry about this. Okay, what do you want? right? Keep it going, keep it going. So, and again, remember the zodiac is a circle. Keep it moving, keep it fluid, expand our repertoire of responses so that we have the ability to be many, many different kinds of ways and many different kinds of animals. One of the things we'll be playing with, I love a astrological colleague says, if somebody's very timid, if their chart has no fire or, something or whatever, he will teach them the animal dances of kind of leopard and lion, like, funda, funda. They're all in us. The zodiac, the circle of animals, we have all of these things available for infinite forms of practical animation. When we're walking on something slippery, sturdy Taurus sensual animals, or gecko feet, dum 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 dum, or the wonderful part of the Hummingbird's Daughter, a great novel. Teresita's Aztec grandmother is saying to her, here comes Taurus, Teresita, and we can all do this together. Feel your feet on the floor, feel roots going from your feet deep, deep, deep into the ground. And Teresita says, grandmother, does this mean I won't be hurt? And her Aztec granny says, no, child, we all get hurt. It means you can't be overpowered, right? So when feeling, there's a lot of ways when we feel this is the Taurus thing of animism and our roots going all the way deep, deep, deep into nature's antiquity to draw upon qualities of strength and resilience and partnering, with these qualities. They're in us and they want a dance partner outside. So part of what we're up to is offering that. It's like, from anger into desire, we also want critique into vision. Going, this is wrong. So what would be the desirable vision? This is wrong is a good place to start, but then what's the desirable vision?
It strikes me that there's a way in which it's a very Aikido principle that you're applying to each of these things. It's sort of like when I studied Aikido, it's like you don't meet an attack by trying to stop the attack. You blend with it and then you redirect it. And so you want to take that energy and keep it moving into a new form.
Right. And we can have retroactive wishes too. It's like we can go backwards in time, to the bunny planet where everything turns out okay. And so there's all of this, sexual harassment coming up, which of course is not an isolated crisis. It's a crisis of isolation. How men treat women is how humans treat the earth, is how, it's all one thing. But in retroactive, yes, I so admire your Aikido and I aspire to jump back in. I've only studied a little bit, but I'm a huge fan. But we would wish, all beings, and let's just say women for the moment, but the women part of all of us, to have Aikido. So some person behaves in a creepy way and puts a hand on and you go, well, don't do that. You'll hurt yourself, and you take them down, right? Or Anita Hill, being harassed by Clarence Thomas going, I have some dirty videos I want you to watch. And we go, I have some CDs on environmental justice we want you to watch. There you go. I mean, come back at it, trickster, we are not.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing I've really noticed about you is that like you are very magical at just dancing through situations that can get really frozen and stuck in a lot of fear. And it's something we talked about in describing today. It's like maybe it would be great to talk specifically is like how we get out of that, the fear patterning where we freeze up and we get over-identified and it's like deer in the headlights and then and open that into a different space.
Right. Yeah. Well, we're all working on this together, right? I mean, we really, really are, and that's why there are times when it really is wonderful to have a team, to have a pack, to have a group, and why we call it kind of trickster training, so that backstage and convening with supportive, like-minded beings, we can practice in our mind's eye, an expanded repertoire of responses and even what we wish we'd said or done last week, right? So that it's living and available. So when things come up, we like in the Aikido, right? You've practiced the response so that exactly as you say. You don't meet the attack. You don't resist the attack. You guide it, going, there you go, you little cuckoo. There you go over there. And like in Egyptian iconography, something in front of you is an adversary, beside you is an ally, behind you is a protector. A snake in front is like, come on over here, let's partner together. And that's part of my dedication for this course, that we partner with these things. And the transformation of demons into allies is a major fun thing that comes to us from many teachings in antiquity, and all the way from the earliest detective novels, which were 231 BC in China, detective novels, myths, and fairy tales, very related. And they said, you know, when the Aries, okay, the hero within all of us, sets forth, dum da dum da dum. But it's always good, Taurus, to have a little magic amulet, some plants, and some animal allies to go with you, and a spirit brother or sister, a little Gemini thing, somebody with whom to make jaunty quips and cheating death and all. And it said that when all of us, you know, descend into the underworld, we will be met by scary people or scary demons, you know. And what often happens is the scary person comes up to us and goes, I was going to kill you or rob you, but I sense that you are authentic. Meaning, this is part of our dedication, that our inside and our outside match. So the scary person says, so I was going to harm you, but now you're authentic. I want to switch teams. I want to be on your team. I want to be an ally. But I have underworld skills you will need. And this is so crucial to us now, to have a savvy, let's see, fully informed compassion with sizzle, meaning we know just how terrifying and dangerous and, you know, up to no good so many things are, and we're going to love it anyway. This takes practice, but it doesn't mean la la la, it means informed sizzle. And right now, for all of us to be dedicated to being agents of cool response in a hot reactive world, and inviters, come on over, everybody, to the reverent renaissance of humbly cooperating with nature's guiding genius that is rising from this horror of cruelty and destruction, which does harm to our hearts, even if we try to not notice it, right? So yeah, so authenticity
I think the authenticity is great there, because I mean, to be authentic to the harm that it does the heart, and you also have this phrase of finding the beauty within danger too. So it's sort of like there's this kind of holding the polarity of like also not just identifying with the part that gets hurt, but also finding like what is the potential opportunity here? What is the potential pivot that could happen?
Right. And for each of us to define, say again, trickster, Uranus, and the liberating possibilities of Aquarius gathering, you know, it says, we are big gods. We don't really care what each of you do. We care the manner in which you do it, that it comes from freedom and choice. And then whatever you do is going to fly. But we make these discernments about what is authentically nurturing and what is a con. So solitude, you know, is a Capricornian sacrament, you know, in order to allow us to be better participants in a group. I like saying we can be lonely on our own, but it takes a group in which to be alienated, right? Except for now, not our group. But so solitude is a freedom, hiding is a prison. They can look the same, right? But they feel very different. And so we love animating these qualities of discernment for each sign of the zodiac. What's its freedom? What's its con or its demon, and how to liberate the demon. And then also for all of us to be inviters of whatever we meet, not counting on redemption, but come on over to this good thing. Here's this vision. You know, in all the courses that I teach, you know, the power of metaphors, you know, and having our metaphoric skill set to draw upon and to practice. So we all have a magic mirror, which is really important. The secular critic holds up a mirror and goes, whoa, you know, it's really, oh, we're in trouble now. It's terrible. It sucks in detail. And the trickster part of all of us, with a wave of the hand, turns it into a window. You know, look how beautiful it could be. Magnetizing. Beauty is magnetizing. Beauty is endogenous. We yearn for it. And then with another wave of the hand, turned it into a door. Let's go. Aries, dynamic. Cancer, dynamic. Libra, dynamic. Capricorn, dynamic. You know, let's go. So each circle around is like, let's go. Let's camp and consolidate. Let's scout and extend. Let's go. Let's camp and let's consolidate and extend. And that's how the year works. But that's also if we're planning an event or a party or whatever. It's like we start, we consolidate, la la la. You know, it's a beautiful, the choreography of creation. You know, and it isn't just something that humans invented. It's nature invented this, and we give it different symbols, but there's the originating impulse, and it is the choreography of creation. And there's nothing more
great term.
important than, the backstage gods are meeting right now. Neptune's in its own sign of Pisces. Woo! Best time ever to be a Pisces. We'll go into why. But it's as though all the critters and flora and fauna on this planet are convening backstage going, what are we going to do about the humans? We got to either kill them or heal them. Let's try healing them first. Although, it's also dodgy too, So Pisces is the realm of all beauty, anything that has ever moved humans to conscious kinship, all mythology, all powerful symbols that we'll be bringing up, all fairy tales, all myths, all zodiacs. In every single culture, there's a zodiac, right? It's rising up from the earth-sky dynamic as something that we not only derive our calendar from, but also our way of cultivating necessary qualities to be a full participant in life. And so, so here's part of the enthousos. Everything is being made available by each one of our affinity, each piece of poetry, spiritual teaching, science, knowledge, anything that's a good part of humans is now available for fresh. Pisces is the end of the zodiac, the accumulation of human wisdom, of cooperating with nature in a beautiful way. And then, of course, we begin with Aries to give fresh, original expression to very old things. And so each one of us right now, think of what we love and what we've studied, and how we're being tapped to go give fresh expression to that. And
I'd love to jump in here because I thought it was great. You bookend, from Aries to Pisces, and I loved what you did earlier in terms of like the single phrase for each, but it kind of went through quickly. So I'm wondering if you could kind of like give us the tour from beginning to end again, but with like a different spin on what are the gifts that comes from dancing with each of these zodiac symbols.
So just to do the jokey thing, for the fun of it, Aries is kind of woof, woof. It's the circle is beautiful. It's a circle of color. So each sign of the zodiac has a color and a musical note, and plants and animals, everything associated with it. So Aries is the originating impulse. So we go, Aries is kind of woof. And it's our wise animal. It's our brave animal. Now everything's got its shadow, but we'll go through the thing. So we start Aries, rawr, the realm of Mars, woofiness, rawr, it's red. And then we get to red orange, and it's Taurus, sensuality. So after woof, we have yum, 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 incarnational sensuality.
So these are like mantras as well, like.
Yeah, and by the end of the course, we can all do woof, yum, la la la, la la la. We be able to do our zodiacal calisthenics with sound effects, and something just to play with us, so that if you're feeling frightened, you can just draw on the group and go woof. Woof, oh, I feel better. Or if we want, anhedonia, meaning an aversion to pleasure, a terrible illness. And Taurus is the antidote. Taurus is not really transcendence. Let me get away from this terrible place. It's like full-on incarnational sensuality, and its relationship, because we blend these things, we say metaphors and symbols and zodiacs are the incarnational garb whereby power enters the world. And Taurus says, because all signs are opposite, are related to their opposite too, the Aries, Libra dynamic. A friend of mine says a Libra is just an Aries that's been to charm school, right? Which is good. And the other one that's wonderful is a Cancer is just a Scorpio in a housecoat. But to go backwards, all right. So Taurus is incarnational sensuality, and it knows that when we make something beautiful, it magnetizes invisible Scorpio power. And just as a little footnote, I love Rachel Harris, a radio guest who wrote a book called Listening to Ayahuasca. She's a beautiful psychologist guide. But she quotes a neurological study that says, when we speak to something invisible, it stimulates the same portion of the brain as though we were having tea with a friend. So I love that, right? That our brains are completely democratic. about visible, invisible, tangible, spiritual. It's the same. Real or imagined, it's the same. So even when we can see things, you know, and we'll make the zodiac manifest, right? But even just thinking about it, you know, an invisible thing or an invisible friend, you know, or an invisible ally, we'll be spending quite a lot of wonderful dedicated time creating our invisible pantheon of support, which to our brain is just as real as an onstage team. Right. And then we got to Gemini going, let's talk about it. You know, you know, I know I have keywords and phrases and things, but Gemini is the nerve synapse, connect, coordinate for information flow. We've started something, we've incarnated into sensual pleasure. Now let's spread the word. Let's talk. Let's leave the farm and, you know, and file scouting reports. And then, you know, each sign is out followed by in, out, in. Gemini goes out, out, out. And then Cancer goes, oh, a little too out. Come on home to Big Mama. Cancer, come on home to Big Mama. Pull in, pull in, pull in. We're all agents of Big Mama. The realm of feeling. That was intellect. That was good, Gemini. Now we go into feeling. There we go. And being agents, you know, and so, you know, it's like Amma's chanting, you know, Cancer is, you know, mama, 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 feeling oneself in the embrace of Big Mama. There we go. And then Cancer says, oops, a little too introverted. Let's go out into Leo, show business. There we go. We're going to make it all visible. Da, 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 da. And then Virgo says, a little over the top, Leo. Let's pull in for some deeper scholarship and the first technology of intimacy, which is the magic of language and alphabets and detail and homeopathy and wizardry and medicine and all those things. And then Libra goes, a little too scholarly inward. Let's go out into the social world and take our teachings there. And then Scorpio goes, a little too many parties. Let's pull back into Scorpio magician dynamic, you know, inward brewing. Does my staring bother you? You know, into this Scorpio realm. And then Sagittarius says, a little too inward. Let's go out and learn more. Let's go out and learn more. And then Capricorn says, all right, that's enough extroversion. Let's actually do some stuff. Let's pull into the council. There we go. And then Aquarius goes, now that we've counseled, let's form groups of affinity. There we go. And then Pisces goes, and then let's enter the whole big, vast mystery of it all. We're all in this dream together. You know, there's no harm or joy we don't all participate in. Let all knowledge be dedicated to collective well-being. There we go. And Aries goes, and let's go around again. So
I feel like going through that, it liberates each one. As you said, it's like it liberates different parts, and it's like dancing with a new ally, a new friend, having tea with a friend who's a
right,
invisible
having
ally.
Tea with a friend. And everybody listening now, we all have quite a lot to say, and we can really help each other. You know, and I love yeah, and then each part of the zodiac will get into what's called decans, more complex things, and the zodiacs from all over, from Egypt and yes. But the gist is it's our living zodiac, and everything wants to feel like an affinity and a tonic and a support and an encouragement, you know, and an encouragement even to dance with the demons with some, you know, even affectionate regard, you know, again, demonade. That's right. What did this want to be before it got sketchy, you know, and to joke, you know, again, we all have our demons, you know, and who brought what. And if we traded demons, it would probably be fine. You know, it's like, I do love the Mexican Irish joke in which the Mexican asks the Irishman, my people, you know, do you have anything in your language equivalent to mañana, right? And the Irish person says, yes, but not with the urgency. Right? Anyway, so we go, we need all animals, all people, all cultures, all everything, you know, who brought what, you know, and to mix our own customized brews, and to learn at any moment in time how to mix our metaphoric tonic, going, oh, I need 2 drops of courage. And 5 drops of kindness to go with that, right? And 3 drops of languor, and 8 drops of self-forgiveness, and whatever. Yeah, oh, I needed that. So we'll be making metaphoric tincture brews, but see, in our brain, they're the same as actually drinking something, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be my Capricorn. Let's do something self here and say, let's talk about your program more explicitly, so people know how to join, because this has been like a fantastic hour, so liberating, so fun. And I know people are in for an amazing treat, not just entertainment value, but it's liberating parts of yourself and also becoming better change agents in the world, because right now the world needs evolving, and it's not going to happen through the kind of like brute force methodology that we've really mostly inherited. It's like, it's a more magical way to shift the world. And I really feel like you are a maestro of that. So we're super excited for this program. It's called Liberating the Zodiac Within and Without, journeying into the realm of great symbols. You can find it at thezodiacinu, YOU.com, thezodiacinu.com. It is going to be a 12-week adventure, because there are 12 signs of the zodiac, and that would be the natural design for this, where you're really going to access each zodiac sign as a portal into new possibilities for yourself and ultimately our world. And so you can convene your council with all of your new invisible friends and allies and access them as potentials that you can bring forth in the world. And you can become a fuller spectrum human that is having more fun, that is actually more effective at creating friendships, bonds, collaborations, and ultimately the changes we need to see in the world. And as Caroline said, it's going to begin on a very auspicious date. It's going to begin on January 30th, right around this blue moon. And it's going to run on Tuesdays at 5 Pacific time. And why don't you've already done a tour of the archetypes of all the different zodiac signs, but maybe, Caroline, you could just say a little bit more, like what shifts in people as a result of the 12-week journey with you? What are they going to learn? How are they going to change?
I threw one ball up and forgot to catch it. Part of what made the Visionary Activist Astrology course so jolly is that every week we did 2 people who volunteered their charts. And that was really fun. And we got to chime in. But, access to all of our resources, let's say that, so that we have an expanded repertoire, so we access all parts of our resources in a telepathic environment that is safe for everything to come forth, is our trickster safe. No shame, no blame. Let everything arise, befoiblements, everything, all of those things. So, yeah, and then I just wanted to put some preparation, joyfulness, in our dedication. When I said that everybody has something to say, even if they don't know it, and this becomes available, Jupiter storytelling in Scorpio, sizzle, reports from the underworld. But as we, enter the whole, sort of March, April, Jupiter will station at a particular degree, 23 plus Scorpio, which is a person gives a sermon on a mount. Now, there's an old thing that wants to be brought alive again, and bringing old things alive in a fresh new way. Just a little example, when I work with Neil Douglas Cott's Aramaic scholar, he says Aramaic is this beautiful, symbolic, highly Piscean language, and it loses a lot when you take it into Greek. It gets stripped. So blessed are the meek, he says in Aramaic, is more like, blessed are those who soften emotional rigidity within their hearts, for they shall have all the power of nature. Oh, right. So we want to dissolve emotional rigidity and access all the power of nature, which is also, the Zodiac says, here's a quality of power in nature. Here's another quality of power in nature. Here's this woofy thing. Here's this queen, serene, deep thing. Here's this communicative thing. Here's this nurturing thing. Here's the performance thing. Here's this guy, around again, right? So having all of those qualities and to gather together to encourage each other at this time, the liberating, one of my favorite words, everybody can put it in front of your name, liberating Caroline Casey, liberating Stephen Dinan, liberating, fill in your name, because it means setting us free, but also the quality intrinsic to each one of us that is liberating, right? So liberating the Zodiac, all teachings, everything want to go into the cauldron, going with the proviso, does it guide people to their own autonomy, right? Here's where we're liberating the Zodiac. Not a priesthood, like, may I buy real estate? No, you may not. No, none of that priesthood stuff. We get to find our allies in history as well, our resonances. So I love Marsilio Ficino, great Renaissance astrologer, who was always berating the astrologers of Florence for setting up a priesthood, where people outsource their autonomy. May I do this? May I get married then? We go, that was interesting, but we can't afford that now. So does it guide people to their own autonomy? That's our dedication. Is it equal Mars and Venus? We'll be tracking their beautiful dance through the zodiac this year, and what qualities to cultivate. Is it equal men and women? Is our unique trickster welcome, that sometimes makes mistakes and sometimes doesn't, but welcome, welcome, welcome. Can the truth be said without cringing? Yes, we ladle it out. No, we throw it back in for another round of bubbling. So we want to liberate everything. We want to be agents of liberating. And that includes the zodiac, these beautiful systems of antiquity that move through time, and they get a little priestified sometimes, where you have to outsource your autonomy. May I do this? And we go, no, we're going to set that free, to guide everybody to their own internal divinatory wise intuition, with many colors and many flowers and many ways with which to paint, whatever it is we need, and whatever else you might have asked.
Ta-da! Well, what I think, I just want to circle back to the course is going to be an amazing adventure, and it really so beautiful. There's also, I encourage you to go to the page at thezodiacinu.com. Again, that's thezodiacinu.com. And simply reading through the modules themselves is such an exercise in liberation. It's like Cancer, we ally with Big Mama to protect with what we love. It's like these are not your average modules here. These are very, very liberating. Just the playfulness with language and with how we think of ourselves. And it really is just each stage of this journey with Caroline frees us up more. I also want to encourage you to look through we got some great bonuses, of abundance of bonuses for this program. We have an astrological reading raffle. Ta-da! So 2 participants' charts every council is used as a teaching tool. So it's a total of 24 charts. We have a video dialogue with Caroline Casey and Don Oscar Miro Quesada, one of our favorite shamans, and trickster and shaman in dialogue. A lot of magic there.
It was a hoot.
I love both of you, and it must be quite.
It really worked well. Yeah.
Cool. We've got Caroline's National Pioneers Conference presentation called Bodhisattva Coyotes, Alchemical Aikido Guide to Our Dangerous Beautiful Assignment. That is a great title, like that. And so I'm sure there's a lot of great magic in that, and particularly like in terms of our relevance to how do we help shift the larger world. And then we have a recording from Caroline called Scheherazade Saves the World. We've got bonus astrology councils, 2 60-minute video sessions from Caroline on Dark of the Moon before New Moon Council and Santa Lucia Virgin de Guadalupe Council. So those are extra bonus councils. So Caroline's just been throwing great bonuses at this because she wants this to be the most amazing ride that you've ever been on in terms of a course. And we also have, almost neglected, today only, when you sign up today at thezodiacinu.com, you get Wise Women and Wizards. This is an audio collection from the Visionary Activist radio show. And that includes actually 5 different folks that you've hosted on your show. You want to share a little bit about that? Michael Mead, Nora Jameson, Lily Gay.
Yeah. So, I've been doing this radio show for 22 years. Yay! We hope Pacifica hangs in there, right? But what I ladled out is, who was a really great dance partner? Because many people can write but not necessarily talk, and some people are not really good at conversing. They're just like, oh, but Michael Mead and I had a fabulous turning together dance. And it was interesting because I hadn't wanted, for whatever reason, to, I don't know, because whatever, but anyway, but he was wonderful. Larry Bogad, speak mirth, be power. So we're dedicated to all of us being capable. We don't have to do everything, but we could, being capable of liberating cultural hijinks. There we go. That's the dedication. Nora Jameson, beautiful, profound, from her solitude and depth of connection with nature, coyote, goat maven, redemption through from, well, ladling beauty out of the grief cauldron is a theme. Really wonderful. Lily Ye, one of my favorite Librans, one of my favorite humans. Librans have come to make the world more beautiful. And her adventure is so profound, of going into dangerous places, right? Beauty and danger, they do go together. And as a little sidebar, I was going to say a wonderful friend of mine crafted, as we're all defining things for ourselves, he said, we would wish for you a relationship that's dangerous in a good way, right? And we go, what does that mean? It sounds fun, right? So Lily Ye really embodies that, relationships, love and art that are dangerous in a good way, meaning, it gets us through the underworld, but also relationship that's dangerous in a good way is to be with peers, who have the capacity and complexity, who really want to know all of us, and we want to know all of them, dangerous in a good way. But Lily's done incredible acts around the world of going to dangerous places and drawing forth beauty from the community there, and that beauty is stronger than tyranny. And it's such an embodied thing. Faith Spotted Eagle, just such a powerful Indigenous woman leader, and again, power of language that we'll be honoring. She says, I always call it, anything bad, I always call it the proposed pipeline, because in my mind, it's not happening. Right? She's really great. So that's the Wise Women and Wizards, and there's more, but those are things that I plucked out that I thought, these are useful. And there's even more secret bonuses that we haven't mentioned. But
secret bonuses, oh my word!
There's a secret bonus. There's a secret bonus that people get when they, the early people, because a lot of people have already signed up. Come join us. Which is, I wrote an essay in 1989, right? The Saturn thing, and I read it, and I was like, it was published in 1990. I go, that's a fantastic essay. So I'm making it. It really is. It's dreams and disasters, patterns of mythological evolution, into 2050, right? So I started writing it in 88, 89, and it's pretty amazing. So that's going to be available for everybody in a PDF. Nice. But I'm also doing everybody will also have a recording of me reading it, with some parts that were overly optimistic, but
your generosity with the bonuses is amazing. So you can find all the details on the program at thezodiacinu.com. Again, thezodiacinu.com. And so again, it starts January 30th. We've kept the price fairly accessible for a lot of value. It's 3 payments of $179, so you save about 10% when you pay in full at $497. So you get the whole 12 weeks, all of the class explorations, all the bonuses, and the extra bonus today with the Wise Women and Wizards package when you sign up today. So when you can do that at thezodiacinu.com, and I encourage you to do so today, and you'll just enjoy reading the page describing it as well as all of the amazing testimonials from people who have worked with and studied with Caroline and been very liberated from that process. So I know that I feel like today has been great medicine for my heart. I feel lighter, and I've had some great laughs and also some profound insights about a whole range of things. So thank you, Caroline, for the magical, mysterious way that you weave your words and insights into a tapestry of new possibilities. And thank you for this upcoming program. So anything that you or your little friend, Brer Rabbit, has to have to say to close the hour here? Inviting people to join you for the next stage.
That's great. Well, Brer Rabbit, yes, Brer Rabbit that's good. But he goes, wait, there's other guests here. Let me see if I can suit up quickly. Yeah, this is the dragons just reminding us that. There we go. Quickly suiting up here. All right, that's right. All right, the dragons, the dragons that remind us, as Ursula Le Guin says, those who do not listen to dragons are doomed to live out the nightmares of politicians. And we go, may the dragon in all of us, the circle dragon, and then the great sacred teachings of Edward Snowden, who was being asked, aren't you afraid? Shouldn't we be afraid? He goes, no, we shouldn't be afraid. We should be ready. Nice. So let's get ready. And then one last little thing from the dragons, especially now, some things are always true, but there are times when they're truer. The protoplasm of reality is especially receptive to imaginative imprint. So cultivating power of symbols, dreams, visioning, ancient languages of antiquity, it's such a perfect time to do it. Woof, woof, woof. I'm enthused, honored, delighted, and always to work with yourself, Stephen Dinan.
What a pleasure it is for me as well. So thank you for this time. And I really hope all of you out there join the Zodiac within you and without. It's at the zodiacinyou.com. It's going to be an amazing adventure. So this has been such a delight. Thank you, Caroline. And thank you all for joining. And let's create more magic in 2018. And this is a great way to kick it off.
Magic is a willingness to cooperate with everything. Yes.
Yes. Bye now.
Bye now.